So recently, ZeroWorks announced a brand new game that was being developed called Slendytubbies Guardian Collection. Slendytubbies Guardian Collection is going to be a complete rewrite of the original 3 Slendytubbies games, with new content, features, and more. And so, I've recently thought of a lot of new additions that could be added to the game, along with some potential changes. Also cause I haven't posted an actual video in very long. Also, this will be kinda all over the place. Sorry about that. Without further ado, sit back, grab a snack, and listen to me yap. But first, let's go over what we already know about the title. First off, we know that Slendytubbies 1, 2, 3, and the campaign are all getting revamped. We know that there will be a friends list, a map maker, and that feeder mode is making a return. We also know that there's a hidden option that hasn't been revealed yet. Jumping right into the predictions, I first want to guess what this hidden option is. I have a couple ideas, and I'll start from least to most likely. Starting off with least likely is Slendytubbies 4. ZeroWorks have said multiple times that there won't be a Slendytubbies 4, even though people are always requesting this. Personally, I just don't think it's likely. Next is Dipsy's Workshop. I really don't think that this game will be brought back, as all it is at the end of the day is a reskinned Fruit Ninja. Plus, it was pulled from the App Store a long time ago. I also don't think it will be Slendytubbies Worlds, as I feel like Zero will want to keep the game separate from this one. Not impossible though, just unlikely. Now I personally think that this hidden option will be Slendytubbies 2D. It feels the most feasible to me since it's the most unique, it was well received, and people actually still play that game. Now moving on to Slendytubbies 1. There isn't too much I want added here, but I do have a couple ideas. First is a new time setting. Dawn. I think adding Dawn could add a cool and unique feel that is definitely needed in that game. This also ties in with my next idea, the option for a day and night cycle. My idea is with this option enabled, you start in daytime, but every 2.5 minutes, it switches to another time setting. A cycle being daytime, then dusk, night, dawn, and finally day again, over the course of 10 minutes. I also had the idea for a harder difficulty. In this mode, Tinky Winky moves faster, and there are now 25 custers instead of the normal 10. Some smaller additions I would like to see is the option to switch between the classic and anniversary graphics, and refined pop-up jump scares, but these are purely optional. Next is Slendytubbies 2. My first prediction is that Tubbycraft will make a return. Tubbycraft, despite the map being liked by fans, was the only map that never got ported to Slendytubbies 3, and I think it will make its return here. Next is that I think Slendytubbies 2 will have multiplayer, mainly versus. I also don't think monsters will instant kill you anymore, as well as there being some more light on the maps. Now, my big addition I would love to see would be the addition of a radar scanner. Basically a device that will show when monsters are in your proximity. If this were added, I would also suggest moving some custards on some maps to not so heavily lean on the mechanic of the night vision camera. Now Slendytubbies 3. There's a lot to talk about. Let's start with the basics. I think all maps, including the Slendytubbies 2 ports and Tubbycraft, will be making a return. And while I hold that hope, I don't think Scythe Tubby or Military Outpost will return. With that out of the way, now let's get on to the fun stuff. I have so many ideas for survival. For starters, I think it would be really cool if there were more waves. You'd be able to choose how many waves you have to survive, starting at 5 and ending at 25. I also think it would be awesome if there was an endless mode, where you fight until you die. I also think after wave 10, there would be newborn variants, similar to ones in Slendytubbies Growing Tension. Moving on, of course, I would love to see new guns and weapons. Maybe even armor. I don't know. My final prediction for survival is kinda far-fetched, but I want to see custom events that randomly occur. Events such as special enemies, no death waves, multiple boss waves, etc. I imagine this would be like in Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1 and 2, where it has a chance to happen on designated waves. Infection has a couple ideas that come to mind. The first being that there are new newborns that could spawn. I'm thinking stuff like spider droids, phantoms, and ranged newborns could all be great additions that could really make the gameplay more interesting. To combat this, I think there should also be events once the Teletubbies survive for long enough. examples being full ammo refills and new guns. Now, before we get to the biggest and hardest to predict section, I want to quickly talk about a new game mode idea I had, Capture the Flag. 2 teams of 5 are placed on opposite sides of the map. The objective is to capture the other team's flag and bring the flag back to your spawn. Everybody has a pistol and a shotgun, just like Infection. I feel like this game mode would be very fun and be great for keeping the player base alive in the long run. With that out of the way, now let's talk about the campaign. As much as we want it, I personally don't think we're getting a new campaign. However, I will give ideas for what new ideas could be implemented. First and foremost, I think the easiest addition would be adding the What Comes After miniseries onto the main campaign. I also think the scene with Dipsy's hat could be added, as it's not too complex. Now some new additions. First off, I want to see the train maze implemented. I always found this area really interesting. It could also add more context to the diary entries found in the cave. Add on the fact that this map is canon, and the train maze has a lot of potential. Second, expanding on the backstory of the security droid. In the mountains, there is a security droid that says he was instructed to hunt down and kill the Yeti Tubby. However, upon seeing the Yeti Tubby, he knew he had 2 options, serve or be destroyed. This would also be a great place to explain why the Yeti Tubby is much more intelligent than most of the other infected. And finally, for this section is the backstory behind the imposter. We know they are related to the Guardian thanks to the hat, and we can assume that they were made by the military, but we don't know anything else. So I think that would be great to know. Now, you may have noticed I didn't talk about the DLC demo at all, and that's because I just don't see it happening. After the backlash the demo got, I don't think ZeroWorks would want to add that. Wrapping up with some smaller additions, I would love to see the option to toggle between the Slendytubbies 2 and 3 models and faces, as well as some more customizations, and maybe even gun skins, but that one's iffy. And that's it for my predictions and ideas for Slendytubbies Guardian Collection. Do you agree with my ideas? Do you have any other additions or changes you would like to see? Comment them down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button on your way out, and have an amazing day. See ya!